Good morning, everyone. I am Jessica from UPOU Office of the Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs. First, we want to thank you for being here, for being physically here to join us in this launching of the Futures Research Series. I can see there are UPOU employees here, faculty, admin, reps, research assistants, and of course we have guests or participants from UPOU alumni or UPLB. So we really want to thank you for being here. And of course, we want to acknowledge those who are joining via live stream. So we all know that we're web streamed at upou.networks.edu.ph. So we're excited. So I know we're all excited for what will happen today. So without further ado, we would like to call on Dr. Melinda Lumanta for our welcome and opening remarks.
Thank you very much, Jessica, and good morning to everyone. Today we launch a special series of UPOU's Research Conversations as part of our 25th anniversary year-long celebration. Dubbed as Research Conversations 2020 Futures Research Series, this is indeed special in several ways. First, as Chancellor Mel would say, it is one articulation of the University of the Future. Exactly what that means, I will leave it to the Chancellor to elaborate on as we launch this series in a short while. Now, second, the series will feature specially identified speakers who are recognized experts in their fields who can enlighten us on the so-called futures research. We are fortunate to have among us an expert on this, and that is Dr. Sandy Flor, who will introduce us to this distinct group of research approaches, which may include, among others, scenario building approaches, for instance, trends analysis to predict the future, or simulation approaches to anticipate future conditions. So we're really looking forward to that talk, and we're not going to make our introductions very long. The launching will be brief, and we will immediately delve into the talk of Dr. Flor. Now, third, it is special because the format of this year's conversation series taps existing faculty-based forums. In UPOU, we have the Faculty of Education's Educacion as one of the forum, the FICS Masterclass, which most of you are familiar with. Then we have the FMDS Let's Talk It Over forum. We will be collaborating with the faculty offices as we continue with this research conversation series, because we recognize their disciplinal areas of strength in research. Now, today's event, as you know, is in collaboration with FICS through their Masterclass Forum. We thank them for their cooperation in making this activity a reality. So if you feel very comfortable in your seats and feel the ambiance, this is all because of the preparations that had been done through the two offices of the UPOU, the Faculty of Information and Communication Studies and the Office of the Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs. Now, the UPOU's Research Conversations is an ongoing UPOU activity, which had its first session as early as 2016. Under Chancellor Mel's administration, it was OVCAA's game plan to improve research productivity and inculcate a research culture among UPOU's faculty, research staff, and administrative personnel. It had always adopted a flexible format, providing avenues to encourage research and research collaboration at all levels. Hence, we have had informal, roundtable discussions, formal presentations such as this, abstract writing sessions. We've done this, especially as conferences become available and we need to submit abstracts. We did dry run presentations for conferences to boost the confidence of the presenters in the conferences. We've provided library support services whenever needed in research proposal writing sessions. And we also did sharing of best research and publication practices among us. Now today, we adopt yet another format in the form of a specialized series. And we are dubbing this as the Futures Research Series, which we are launching today. With that, I wish to welcome you all and thank you for your presence. So magandang umaga sa ating lahat.
Thank you, Dr. Lumanta, for a very warm welcome and, of course, for giving us an overview or a background of this special series, Futures Research Series. And now, to formally launch this series, we would like to call on our beloved Chancellor, Dr. Melinda Bandalaria, to officiate this launching. Thank you.
Maraming salamat, Jessica, and magandang umaga sa ating lahat. Pwede naman siguro ako magsalita bago mag-launch, ano? Para mabigyan natin ng pagkakataong huminga yung ating mga taga-MC. Mainit-init pa yung kanilang isinasalang sa makina ngayon. Okay, so muli, good morning to everyone. We are happy to see you all here, and we are also happy to know that there are about how many connected to us online? I think there are more than 30. Ilan? Ilan na ngayon? 10. Okay, so baka dumami pa yan mamaya. Oo. So today, Ma'am Mendy, thank you very much for giving us that introduction on how this series would be. But for this morning, I also would like to highlight 3 things in this opportunity for me to give this message. One, I am happy to note that if you have noticed, we have launched, or we are planning to have different events or activities to celebrate the 25th anniversary of UPOU. So if you will look at the combination of these events, so we started with the Off the Leap, we have the Collaboratoire, we have the anniversary program, and now we have this. If you will go down the list, we still have the video competition, the Grand Sunduan, the ISAS, and of course, hopefully the ICODEL. Hopefully, I'm saying hopefully because we still don't know if we will push through with our ICODEL, which we scheduled in December of this year. So, but we're still planning for that. So if you will look at the combination of these events, there is this academic, very, very academic in nature. At meron din naman, we also have this giving tribute to the different sectors in the university. So like for instance, during the anniversary program, we pay tribute to our founders, to those who really helped us in building the university. But at the same time, it was some sort of a reunion, a happy occasion. But the other 3 events that we already had, including this one, is really more academic in nature, which also reflects in terms of who we are as a university. Ma'am Mendy said that I have this articulation that this Futures Research Series is one articulation of how we are codifying the University of the Future concept. by the title itself, it really reflects that it will be different from the usual, from the traditional, from the conventional research approaches that we will do. And I am also excited about it. I am finding myself, as I go through the list, the potential topics that we will discuss under this series, I am finding myself as a learner. I mean, hindi man tayo nawawala dun sa posisyon na pagiging learner. But looking at the different research methodologies, as mentioned by Dr. Mendy, different approaches, different strategies of doing research, we will all find ourselves in the shoes of the learners and looking at research from a different perspective. So kahit ako, I'm also excited to hear the different topics that we will discuss in this thing. So there will be a short discussion in the video launch later about open science. And I am also hoping that as we discuss all these research methodologies, all these approaches, we will also align it with the open science concept so that we will also really be true to our concept of the university of the future. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I want to highlight in this activity that we are having today is the collaboration between and among units of UPOU as exemplified in today's program. So for today, we have this collaboration between OVCAA and the inaugural lecture or conversation led through the FICS Masterclass. I look at it as a model that will really maximize our very limited resources. As I always say, ang unti ng manpower ng UPOU, so the best approach so that we could do everything that we really want to do is for us to combine forces and for us to integrate whatever activities that we could integrate. So this is one example, and I'm happy to see that we are doing it now, and hopefully that we will be seeing a lot of this collaboration model in the future between the units of UPOU. The third thing is the harnessing of the affordances of modern ICTs so we can share. So the sharing culture and even include even those who cannot physically be with us. So I don't know, but it has become the culture of UPOU, and I'm happy to see. In fact, in my initial email, when we were discussing these things, I said, make sure that the event will be web streamed or using the Zoom platform para mas maliwanag din yung dating to those who are joining us online as if they are here with us. So I'm happy to note that na it has become a culture, the sharing, the inclusivity. Hindi lang yung mga taga rito yung makakarinig sa atin at makaka-share, makaka-discuss. So that is another thing that I want to highlight in the way we are doing this event now. So thank you very much to our technical people. Lastly, I congratulate OVCAA and FICS for trailblazing the Futures Research Series. May salute to our senior colleagues. Saludo ako sa ating mga senior colleagues for bringing UPOU to this level of academic discussion. So may special mention to Professor Emeritus, former Chancellor, Dr. Lex Librero, who initiated the concept of masterclass, and that concept we are still bringing now in this Futures Research Series. Of course, Ma'am Mendy, our Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, and Dr. Sir Sandy, ang tawag ko po sa kanila, wala si Ma'am Gigi, other senior colleagues. Si Sir Sandy, he kept on insisting, kasama na ako doon sa senior colleagues, pero for this particular tribute or recognition, ihiwalay ko muna yung sarili ko to really distinguish the kind of contribution that our senior colleagues are giving to the university in terms of bringing the level of academic discussion to this level that we are having now. I cannot imagine launching or having this kind of discussion. Siguro kung tayo mga, isasama ko na muna yung sarili ko dun sa mga bata, kung tayo lang yun nandito. But hearing them discuss things like this, medyo ano ka rin na, wow, pwede palang ganon. So, marirealize nyo rin kapag narinig nyo na yung introductory lecture ni Sir Sandy, kayo mismo rin yung magsasabi ng wow, Oo, and I'm lucky to be part of the conversation. So, to our senior colleagues, muli maraming salamat for still doing this work for our university. Also to our colleagues who made this today's program, a reality, a possibility, despite the very short time to prepare because of our busy schedule during the past weeks. The OBCAA and FICS staff, and of course our MC staff who really did rush work so that they can say yes to our request to have something for our video launch this morning. So maraming salamat. Everyone cooperated, everyone did their best. Maraming salamat, and this is really the UPOU spirit. Again, maraming salamat. Good morning to everyone. So let's now, ikaw ba mag-i-introduce ng video? Okay, so let's now watch our video launching of the Futures Research Series. So MC, take it away. Thank you.
There will probably be a point of agreement or disagreements. But there is that realization that the future is here and actions and transformations will have to be taken now if universities are to remain relevant and for the aforementioned functions, our core functions, not to be taken by whatever emerging configuration that would fill the voids unaddressed by the formal education system represented by us, universities. So colleagues, fellow academics, the university of the future is not something to be acted upon in the future. The challenges are here, and the time to act is now.
The University of the Future helps shape the industry through its open science-based knowledge creation and generation function.
As part of UPOU's 25th anniversary celebration, research will take the center stage through a collaborative undertaking of the academic units of UPOU through the Futures Research Series. Research Conversations 2020 is one of the hallmarks of UPOU's 25th anniversary celebration.
Wow, thank you so much, Ma'am Dr. Melinda Bandalaria, Chancy, for officially launching this series. We also would like to thank MC, the Multimedia Center, for providing us the video or the AVP for our launching. And now I know we're all excited, or maybe some of us have questions what research or futures research is about, or we're wondering why or what will happen this morning. So for our kick-off conversation, we would like to call on Dr. Felix Librero, former UPOU Chancellor, and now Professor Emeritus, to welcome or to introduce our speaker.
Thank you very much. I did not decide to ramble on because that will never end. So I decided to write something about the secrets of Alexander Flohr. You may not know it, but we have known each other for quite some time now. And so I'm going to tell you things you don't know about him, but do not tell others. I've always viewed research as a very broad area of intellectual experience. I am pleased that Dr. Sandy Flohr has elected to push further his interest in futures research, particularly in communication. I've known Dr. Flor a great deal of time, even if he does not admit it. And I know he has always ventured to understanding and interpreting what is behind the edge. I recall having been party to his research projects when he was a graduate student. That was a long, long time ago. He was perhaps the first to venture into the study of possible futures in communication, staking claim to regional efforts and the impact of the information society on communities of scientists and researchers within the Philippine diorama. For those of us who have done well in understanding our past, we have done well in the field of our historiography. For those who have elected to learn much from our current experience, we have learned our contemporary experiential environment. And for those who have elected to try to learn what shall happen, it is liberating to be able to determine where we are heading and why we are heading there. I am currently working on a book manuscript, and part of this that I'm working now is a brief section on the futures of development communication. And it will spell out to some degree where we ought to be going in research in development communication. We have always told people what we have done in the past. We do not need to do that anymore. But we need to tell people where we are getting and why we are going there. So kindly engage our thought leader in serious effort to determine where we are heading in the area of communications research. We have much to share and we have much to learn. My friends, I'm honored to introduce to you Dr. Sandy Flor, Dean of the Faculty of Information and Communication Studies of the UPOU. Dr.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Marami po salamat, Dr. Librero, Sir Lex. Yung layout na ganito kay EMS galing ito. Yun na lumilitaw yung tiyan natin pag nakaupo tayo dito. Oo. Pagpasensyahan nyo na ang junior, senior. At medyo nilalamig tayo dito sa hall na to kaya ganito tayo. Ngayon let me see. You must have noticed earlier when we came in that I immediately proceeded to this place, not only to put my presentation on the desktop, but also to change the title. Kasi nung nag-hangouts kami ni Jessica, she was she inquired, what do we call this? What do we call this talk? Sabi ko, futures research na lang, an introduction. And then, while the preparations were ongoing this past few weeks, I realized that there was a lot of expectation from Dr. Lumanta, from research conversations, also from the master class. Baka kako masyadong mataas yung expectation, yung maging expectation nyo, no? Kasi hindi naman tayo eksperto talaga sa futures research. No, I think yung binanggit kanina ni Mandy na especially recognized experts, I think the only my only claim for that special recognition is, guess what? My advancing age. No? So I could speak of this from a multi-generational perspective. No? Kaya pinalitan ko ngayon yung title. Let's see. Yeah, nakita nyo na. Yes. Futures Research, an introduction to futures research from an intergenerational perspective. I could speak about what Dr. Librero and I did before. I could speak a little about the present. The future is for you, the young people who are here. No? And it's so refreshing to see young faces in this hall instead of the oldies that we usually encounter. Oh, kasi sa inyo na to eh. No? Okay, so futures research and intergenerational perspective. And it's also from the perspective of the Faculty of Information and Communication Studies. So I will be using this slide once again. No, our context is the Faculty of Information and Communication Studies. Just a few reminders that our faculty is quite unique because it straddles the information sciences, once called library sciences nung unang panahon, computer science ni Conican, communication, andi dito yung ating representative from the department, the College of Development Communication na pala ngayon, ano? And media studies in GG, Army, etc. So we straddle quite a spectrum of disciplines. No? It runs from the information and communication technologies to new media and interactive art. We have, is Shari here? Is Diego here? Well, King is over there, of course. Si Al. We declare time and again that communication is a pan-discipline. We encroach so many disciplines, no? Too many to be comfortable with. Recently, we staked our claim on a science that has been traditionally associated with biology, no? Yung autopoiesis. Kaya one of the first ones who appreciated that was our faculty member, si Sol, who is teaching biology, no? And our research is evolving, it is converging, and it is driven by our environment, right? You would agree that that is the case. Ito nga yung autopoiesis. And so, what I will be showing you today, many of the slides that I will be showing you were used in previous presentations. The most recently, yung off the lip ni Diego. And then I also have some slides from an ACMC conference that Ems, Benji, and I attended in 2018, you know, in Taiwan. The title of that presentation is Communication as a Pan-Discipline. And I will start with the slides that I used in 2018, January of 2018, at UP Baguio. It was a workshop on what Professor Abalos calls the topoi, or the topos. Jean would be familiar with this. It's the landscape of communication research. Okay, so that's where we are going to start. Now, I've said a few things about the Faculty of Information and Communication Studies. Now, I would like to give you a graphical representation of the research topography or the research horizon that we are in right now from a chronological point of view. No? But what I will be showing you are persons, initials of persons. So you could call them stars, no? Stars of communication research. And so instead of the topos or the landscape, let us consider this as a firmament, ano? Firmament siya, tapos may mga between sa taas. Ngayon, kung imamapa natin ito, dapat we have to situate this within a Cartesian space, so to speak. You're familiar with a Cartesian space, ano? Yung quadrants, hindi ba? Para mamapa natin siya, no? So this is my y-axis, and at the very top of that would be, this is my x-axis. At the very top of my y-axis, you have what they call ETIC. Hindi yung ETIC, ah. ETIC is research from or using the objective or point of view, no? We do research with a subjective view of, objective view of the phenomenon. The opposite of that is called emic research, where the subjective view is given profound importance. No? So this is a continuum from objectivity to subjectivity. Sa ano naman, x-axis, you have your quantitative and your qualitative. Now, I assume that all of us here have a research background, right? Kasi mga research assistants tayo, hindi ba? Ngayon sa natin pwesto, yung mga personalities sa communication research, I'm going to extend from FICS, magbabacktrack tayo to the very beginning of communication research in Los Baños. This is the time of your grandfathers and great-grandfathers, no? Kung kailan nag-umpisa ang communication research sa Los Baños. Tapos, ewan ko, no? This is a subjective, this is my own personal map of the firmament, so to speak. You all heard of Nora C. Cabral, right? NCQ. Dito ko siya sinisituate. Very positivistic nga. Very quantitative. No? Alam nyo, communication as a science started at the University of the Philippines System in Los Baños with a group of Diliman-trained PhDs, gaya ni Nora C. Cabral, no? Ibig ko sabihin, doon sila nag-undergraduate, pero undergraduate as English majors and others. I would put Juan F. Hamias as one of the stars also. Juan F. Hamias is the father-in-law of Sir Lee Baroga Hamias, who is the Vice Chancellor of for Public Affairs of UPLB and one of our faculty members also under the Master of Development Communication Program. Kasama niya dito si Gloria D. Feliciano. Gloria D. Feliciano was the first director of the UP Institute of Mass Communication. She was pirated from Los Baños to Diliman to serve as the first director, and she brought with her sina Cesar M. Mercado. No, Cesar M. Mercado, one of his sons, graduated recently as a Doctor of Communication, a degree holder of under our DCOM program, si Mel ang kanyang advisor. Kasama din dito si Purisima Katigbaktan, na husband ni husband niya si Alexis. Mga medyo hindi na nga natin sila kilala. Pero dito sila sa second quadrant, doon sa pinakamataas, no? Positivist, quantitative, very, very objective in their views, no? Ngayon naman, eto na si Dr. Librero. Dumating si Dr. Librero, he came back as a young PhD in the 80s. And he brought with him new research methods and perspectives like general systems theory. Yung mga unang qualitative nun, he taught us naturalistic inquiry, no? Si Egon Guba, I remember that textbook that we used in his class. He was the first who taught the Delphi technique, no? Which is hard and fast futures research. No, pero makikita nyo, dito na siya sa bandang baba. Lumalapit na sa qualitative eh. Tapos, yung subjective, no? bumababa na rin dito from objective to subjective. Right. Okay. This is Teresa H. Stewart, who recently retired from UNESCO New York. No, dito siya sa medyo lumipat na sa qualitative. And then Antonio G. Moran, who is one of our adjunct professors, specializing in personal construct theory. Sino ba yun? MFL, Mendy F. Lumanta, right? Am I accurate in situating you here, Mendy? No? Not so well. You are nearing the middle compared of the others. Sino pa ito? Sino yung huling pumasok? Oh, MFL, yes. Oh, ako to, no? Nasa babagi, well. MPB is Melinda de la Peña Bandalaria. Am I accurate in situating you in the second quadrant? Shirley Baroga Hamyas. Pasensya na doon sa mga natin, yung our faculty members who, ang linagay ko lang kasi dito, this was 2018, yung mga may PhD na degree, kaya wala pa dito sina King, sina Joyce, sina Mari, Grace Javier Alfonso. At the other end of the spectrum, qualitative IMIC with her protege, Arminda V. Santiago, who is now the Dean of the College of Mass Communication in Diliman. Tama ba ako dito? Jean A. Saludades. Okay lang ba? Jean A. Saludades. Tingnan lang natin, hindi ko ma-edit dito eh. Okay, and there's Diego S. Maranan. IMIC, but, well, quantitative, this is Benji, no? Sino si JVS? Johan V. Serrano. Hindi naman si Johan. Connie L. Khan, Concepcion. Very quantitative, but I'm not so, well, there's Ria May Borromeo. Her, this is my understanding of, kasi ang interest ni Ria at that time, I think, is crowdsourcing, right? Crowdsourcing is to me, where's Ria? She must be over there. Yung, tama ba, Ria? Quantitative, IMIC. Okay, now, what does this all mean, Okay, we have stars in that firmament. Meron pa ba? Oh, eto, these are the positivists. Constructivist. And then in-betweens. Okay. And you know what? All of us are converging. Right? All of us are converging. We translate this into methods and areas. Okay. Diego is interactive art and design, crowdsourcing process flows. That's Ria May Borromeo. Human-computer interactions, knowledge discovery. Ito na yung Montreal School ni Jean. Film and media studies of Gigi. Personal constructs of Antonio Moran. E-learning of Mel Bandalaria, MOOCs, and so on. And there is futures research. Futures research, ito na ba yung nahuli? Hindi pala. We are converging. These stars are converging. These stars in the firmament are converging. Now, let me just talk briefly about futures research and how it started. It started in the military defense and intelligence sector during the Cold War. The Delphi technique was actually developed by the Office of Naval Research of the U.S. Scenario construction is a technique used by defense contractors in trying to determine what to do or what when a possible attack would be made. You know, this was during the Cold War, you know? And at that time, there was, you know, when I joined UPLB, for instance, the Office of the Director for Research classified research into two types. One is basic research, and one is applied research. Basic research is really going into theoretical theory and so on. Applied research is when you apply it in a certain project. Later on, at the time, Sir Lex introduced futures research and general systems theory. The typology was different. There was scientific research and policy research. Scientific research contributed to theory. Scientific or policy research contributed to policy or to management decisions. That's where futures research was situated. And so I will talk about that year, 1983 to 1986. This is what Dr. Librero mentioned earlier. This is the title of my dissertation, which was conducted then. The Information Rich and the Information Poor, Two Phases of the Information Age in a Developing Country. And I'm so proud to have the following persons in my committee. The committee was chaired by Dr. Librero, of course, who I say, as I mentioned earlier, introduced futures research here, and Serafin Talisayan of the Asian Center then, who was into the policy sciences. Flor Angel Rosario Braid was into macro information and communication trends. Gabriel Iglesias was the Dean of the College of Public Administration, who was, well, the policy studies was under their purview, of course, and Higino Ables. 5 yung members ng committee ko. No? Pinaghati-hatiin na lang yung honorarium. Hindi masyadong malaki pa nun. Pero because of this constitution, I was able to do quantitative insofar as macro level, secondary data analysis, yung census and statistics, where our labor force was going, you know? Nakita namin dun sa analysis natin na habang paunti ng paunti yung agricultural workers natin, padami ng padami yung mga information workers natin, you know, the trending. Then we did qualitative also, naturalistic inquiry, and futures. Now, nung mga panahon na yon, there were some centers, global centers of futures research. One of them was in Israel. Yung parang pinaka-leader ng school of thought na yun ay si Yezekiel Dror, no? Scenarios ang kanyang specialty. The other center for futures research was the University of Hawaii, or the East-West Center, where you have people like James Dator, Dandy Wiedemeyer, Johan Galtung, who retired from Oslo and was transplanted to Honolulu, and other experts in that area. And so 3 years after I got my degree in I got my degree in 87. 3 years later, I was offered a postdoc fellowship, and I chose the East-West Center. No, kaya dun tayo ngayon. I will give you a retrospective of what I learned then. Retrospective kasi meron na akong isiningit ngayon based on my interaction with my colleagues. I'll show you a typology, quantitative, qualitative futures. No? Yung approach ng quantitative is, of course, deductive. Qualitative, and Jean will correct me if I'm wrong, it's inductive. Futures, on the other hand, is abductive kasi you do a lot of guesses. No? You have a limited set of observations. This is where things are going. No? And then you speculate. No? You supplement a limited set of observations with informed speculation, and then you arrive at the best prediction. No? The most accurate prediction, it could be, well, others approach it this way, such as in my dissertation, I did a best case and a worst case scenario of an information society in a developing country. So these are called extreme scenarios. No? What is the best that could happen? What is the worst that could happen? That is research using scenario construction or scenario building method. I would classify that as abductive. The purpose of quantitative research, I would imagine, would be to generalize, to offer explanations that could be good to a large number of cases, or the most number of cases. In qualitative, well, my understanding, based on my interactions with my colleagues, like Jean, is what's more important in qualitative is understanding, right? Understanding a phenomenon. And that explanation or that understanding may be limited to that particular case. In futures, what we would want to do is to predict. Right? Ito ba mangyayari? Forecast. Parang yung weather forecasting, ganito nga ba mangyayari? Okay. Epistemology is what makes, what could we call valid knowledge? Quantitative is, of course, positivist. Qualitative is constructivist. Doon sa East-West Center, ang tawag nila sa futures research, post-positivist. Meaning, meron siyang set of assumptions also which could be proven wrong or right at the very beginning, and that's where you make certain inferences. No? Pero lately, when I did a Google, now epistemology for futures is called social epistemology. I don't know exactly what this means, and maybe it's for the younger researchers to look into it. Scientific value, quantitative is, well, it's how probable your explanation is, and that would earn your value. Qualitative, it's the plausibility. Again, si Jean yung aking inaano doon. Sa futures naman, it's foresight. Yung, does your prediction, your forecast, your explanation of what will be, does it contain enough foresight to be believable? Quantitative, you use this to theorize. Qualitative use is, well, the profundity, the depth of knowing, of knowledge that you get. In futures, you would want to know impact. Environmental impact assessments, for instance. You establish this particular installation, what would be its impact on the environment, what would be its impact in climate change. We introduced this new technology, 5G technology, no? Yung first generation ng cellphones pumasok nung 1980, no? 2G came in 1990. 3G came in nung nag-umpisa na tayo mag-text. 2000, 4G nung 2010. Supposedly, papasok na yung 5G ngayon. What would be the impact of 5G technologies? There is a very strongly minded group who believe that 5G is bad for us all. Why? Because of electromagnetic frequencies, yung EMF. No, kung natutulog tayo, katabi natin yung ating cellphone. Kung 5G na yung ano natin, mas grabe yung microwave that is emitted by our phones. Yung mga, our grandchildren, you know, how many hours are they viewing Ryan in YouTube or CKN Toys or Power Rangers? Nakakatakot no? These are impacts that we need to know, and there is a number of futures methods that could go into it. Analysis, statistical, although you could also use statistical, yung inferential statistics in futures research, qualitative is thematic. May mga anticipatory research methods, and well, my postdoc at the East West Center in '89, I had to have two published papers as an output. The first one was titled "The Informatization of Agriculture," which was published by the Asian Communication Journal a year or a couple of years after I completed my postdoc. And the other one is this paper or article, Development Communication in the Policy Sciences, published in the Journal of Development Communication, Asian Institute of Development Communication in 1991. I believe that Dr. Librero was one of the members of the editorial board of this journal. Incidentally, the first journal in DevCom, si Sir Lex ang editor, it was called DevCom Quarterly. May sample pa ako dyan 1983, I submitted an article to Dr. Librero titled "The Proactive Information Society, a Scenario." No? And I'm very happy that it was published, although of course there was really no, hindi science ang ano niya pero it was still considered for publication. Okay, in this article, at the latter part of the article, this article started with the affinity between communication and the policy sciences because of Harold Laswell, who was the father of the policy and sciences. The communication persons in this room would know that Harold Laswell is the first introduced the first social scientific model of the communication process, no? And yon. Yung at the last part of the article, I listed a number of methods. Communication Technology Assessment, or CTA. No, it's a qualitative method that seeks to determine the higher and lower order impacts of communication technology. Higher, lower order impacts. First order impacts, first generation. Second order impacts, second generation. Third order, and as well as the higher order impacts. So it does not only look into the immediate impact of communication technology. There is this social cost-benefit analysis. This is Dr. Talisayon's area of expertise. Scenario construction, chronological description of hypothetical events occurring in the future of a particular system. So yung best case and worst case. The policy Delphi, a method of structuring a group communication of experts, no? Allowing a group of individuals, these are experts, to deal with a complex problem. I also used this in my dissertation. Okay, so it's a form, another form of the Delphi technique. These were the methods that we used then. Ngayon, hindi ko na po alam. But I understand that there are some very sophisticated methods using also a lot of computing resources, no? And ano ba susunod dito? Okay. In spite of this, in spite of this, in spite of that future research episode on communication, we were never able, I don't think there was anyone who was able to forecast what we now call in 2019 as the pathology of information and communication. I will mention a number of books that were very popular during that time. No? Future Shock by Alvin Toffler. The Third Wave by Alvin Toffler. Megatrends by John Naisbitt. They were, well, Alvin Toffler was optimistic, pessimistic, more on the pessimistic side. Naisbitt was very optimistic. But even within Toffler's pessimism, he could not have predicted that in 2020, hackers would be considered as, these are natural outcomes of our environment. I have a list of pathologies, I would call, information and communication. Digital overload. Ito, Naisbitt talked about this, Toffler talked about this, but not in this manner, that we're experiencing now. Distraction, si Dr. Floro nakaharap sa kanyang cellphone, di ba? That's nag-record pala siya. We are distracted because we have to look at our phones every day, every hour of the day, every minute of the hour. And someone introduced the term digital dementia. Because some of the things that we do mentally, we are now dependent on our phone. Like for instance, we need to compute or to compute. How much tax will be deducted from my differential sa promotion ko? 33%. You have to use your phone instead of just, ganito pala kadami, no? If we don't use our brains, if we don't use our gray matter, if we don't exercise it, this would lead to dementia. Kaya kung nakikita niyo kami ni Dr. Librero na nakakasulat pa rin ngayon, this is because we exercise our gray matter with new things, with Netflix, with YouTube, with so on. Okay. If we don't do that, if we let technology do the things mechanically, then we lose. Diba? Kung di natin gamitin yung muscle natin, mawawala yung muscle. Then there's this intrinsic bias of machine learning. I think Bobby would be able to, or Rain would be able to discuss this. Black, gray, and white hats, these are hackers. Digital disinformation and diversion in our politics, this is all happening. Yeah, I think 2019 was the peak of that. Our colleagues from De La Salle University has concluded that the Philippines is patient zero in disinformation daw, no? They call it democratization of information. I'm not so sure how accurate this thing is, but you know very well what I'm talking about. Nung sa Taal, tignan niyo kung ano nangyari. Alam niyo, pumutok yung Taal nung 1977 kasama na kami ni Dr. Librero noon wala lang, hindi no, we were also covered with ash during that time. Pero ngayon, no, yung epekto sa atin, well, what was the difference between 1977 and 2020? Ngayon may social media, noon wala, no? Noon may nagpo-post na pumuputok na yung Taal, yung pala yung picture galing sa South America. Ano? Pati yung SARS, no? Nung 2006, was it, or 2004? No. Did it generate that much fear when the fact of the matter is that virus is much more deadly than corona? Did it generate the fear that is now being generated? Wala. Kasi noon wala pang social media. Ngayon meron na, no? Pwede kang mag-post doon na nagtutumbahan yung mga tao sa kalsada, no? Akala mo, totoo talaga. Commodification of the user, if you watch the Netflix film, The Great Hack. Facebook actually treats us as commodities that they could sell, our data, no? Yung profile natin, yung mga profiles natin, they could sell to certain companies, so these companies could target us for certain advertisement. Weaponization of information and communication. You know, the doutards and yung mga dilawan at saka ano, ayun. It's nobody predicted this, no? In 2019, no amount of futures research was able to project that something like this will happen. Tanong natin bakit? No. Well, perhaps we thought of information. The premise of my dissertation then was that information is a primary resource. Perhaps information is not just a resource. Think about it. What really is information? Ano ito sa buhay natin? Is it just a resource? Is it just a signal that produces a negative uncertainty? Diba? Information is measured by bits. No? A binary digit is a negative uncertainty. If you're certain that Mandy is a girl, you know, diba male, female, 0, 1, no? Female, you're certain, then that's one bit of information. If you're certain that this person is black, that's one bit of information. It's one negative uncertainty. Yun ang pag-measure natin, no? 8 bits would be equivalent to a byte. 1,000 bytes is equivalent to so on and so forth, no? And maybe we assume that communication is just a human science when it is actually not. It goes beyond human science. Our assumptions about information and communication then were found wanting, and this is the reason why we fail to grasp some of the negative consequences of the information society, of new information technologies, of social media. When social media was introduced during the mid-2000s towards 2010, everyone was excited about it. It was going to connect all of us, and now it's being used for other things. Case in point, November 2004, I was then the Vice Chancellor for Research and Development. It is now a defunct office of UPOU, no? And my predecessor then was a doctor, a medical doctor who joined WHO. So there was a vacancy, and Dr. Librero got me in. Now, through a series of referrals, he was able to point me towards this opportunity, an evaluation study for the prevention of and control of HIV/AIDS, which I did in 2004. And you know, this JICA funded or gave a grant to the Philippine government, billions of yen, for the Philippine government, the Department of Health in particular, capacity building as well as equipping the Department of Health with virus detection lab. Yung mga taga-FMDS, meron ba dito? Sino Myra? Nandi dito ba? No. Ayun, si Connie, third level daw na virus pwedeng i-detect nung equipment na binigay ng JICA, and the project ended in 2002. They wanted somebody to do a post-evaluation, and that brought me in. The first thing that I was briefed about was this. This is an HIV virus. Para siyang coronavirus. Kita niyo yung silhouette, ano? Parang corona. Diba? Si Connie ang expert dito. What is a virus? Now, nung pagkapasok ko sa project na to, ang assumption ko the virus is a living thing. Yung pala sa kanila, social sciences ako hindi naman biology yung background ko. So sa kanila, we are still divided. The scientific community is divided whether to call it alive or not. Why? Because it does not exhibit the three attributes of life. It is life. If you're a living thing, you're self-replicating. This could only replicate with a host. No? O nga pala, bayo nga pala to si plant breeding nga pala si Mel. No? It's self-sustaining. No, this cannot sustain itself. The moment it's left alone, then it perishes. This is self-organizing. It does not organize itself. It is just an outer lipid envelope, an envelope of fat covering a protein shell, a protein envelope. And what is inside? RNA, ribonucleic acid. Ano ba yung RNA? These are genetic codes, information. A virus that could kill millions, could cause so much damage in our economy, is made up of, parang yung pinakaano niya, information, code. See how what is information? What really is information? What is its role in life, and so on. Imagine an outer lipid or a fat covering a protein shell, ribonucleic acid, and that's it. Kaya tinawag na coronavirus parang parang crown yung silhouette Pero ito HIV siya. Which again makes me look back in the past. I was a first-year graduate student. It was my first semester at the UPLB. Then it was the Department of Development Communication when this book became a New York Times bestseller, The Selfish Gene by Richard Dawkins. September of 1976. This rocked the academic world because it introduced a new perspective on the science of evolution. According to Richard Dawkins, evolution happens with the gene and not with the organism. Okay? There's a distinction between the gene and the organism. The action of evolution is on the gene and not on the organism. See, Richard Dawkins, in 1976, he was a zoologist. Why should this come to mind? Well, in 1976, he introduced the word meme. Well, actually, he wasn't the one who introduced the word meme. He used the word meme in this book lavishly. The meme to him is the basic unit of culture. Evolution happens among living things. It acts on the gene. The gene is the basic unit of evolution among living things. Evolution also impacts on culture. Culture is subjected to evolution, but the basic unit of culture is called the meme. Now, you use the word meme in a different context nowadays, di ba? Basta may ma-download tayo sa Facebook na tapos it becomes viral and it's a meme. No, well, he was the one who used it a bit is the basic unit of, well, eto, no? These are all basic units. Bit is the basic unit of information. A phoneme is the basic unit of language. Keen is the basic unit of communication. Movement, that has body language. The gene is the basic unit for heredity. Meme is the basic unit of culture. And in his book, sinabi nga niya na the meme acts like a virus because it's a replicator, no? Coined as an analogy. It replicates information patterns that use minds to get themselves copied, much as a virus uses cells to get itself copied. Kung walang ibang mind, walang nangyayari sa meme mo. Like genes, memes are pure information, whether the sequence is coded in DNA, printed on paper, or uploaded in the cloud. Imagine, culture is shaped by information that transfers from one brain to another through a medium. Replicators nga ang tawag niya eh. It can propagate from brain to brain. Yung coronavirus ngayon, no, it's spreading. Sabi nga nila, epidemic. In-introduce din ng WHO president yung term na infodemic. Yun yung meme. Transferring from one brain to another, no? Sowing fear. Or, well, on the positive side, it gives us caution, no? Pero ngayon, no, how does it affect our culture? Well, wala na tayong beso-beso. No? Wala na shaking of hands. No? Medyo yung personal distance natin, mas malayo na kaysa sa yung sinabi ni Edward Hall na 3 feet. No? Wala nang intimate distance. No? That's how it is changing our culture. As they propagate, they can change, they can mutate. And this is where your post-truth comes in, your disinformation, your fake news would come in. Oh, that's in his book, The Blind Watchmaker of 1986. Okay. Another case in point, and this, I've shown this in the Off the Lift conference. What you see here is, are components of a supercomputer. That supercomputer could fit the size of a ball field. No, sabi nila, this is a classical supercomputer. Ang tawag dito, this is owned by IBM, and it is called, Summit. By IBM. There is another type of computer. It is called a quantum computer. Compared to the size of the supercomputer, it's just kasi laki lang ng double door na refrigerator natin, no? This is the quantum computer. Instead of it operates on quantum mechanics principles. Yung sino ba yung nag-physics dito? No. Kasi at a quantum level, things operate differently. Ito nga, it could only function at temperatures close to 0 degrees Kelvin or 0 degrees Celsius, 0.003 degrees. Pag tumaas na siya doon, hindi na niya kayang, it's so hot, ang bilis, kasi ang bilis di ba? Yung mga processors natin, kailangan ng fan, di ba? No? Siya, ang bilis-bilis niya, yung bit niya, ang tawag sa bit, is qubit. Q-U-B-I-T. No? So this is the Google's quantum computer called Sycamore. Okay. Last year, as I mentioned in Off the Lip, actually in 23 October 2019, Google announced that its Sycamore, its refrigerator-sized quantum computer, has attained what they call quantum supremacy. What does quantum supremacy mean? Mas tinalo niya yung supercomputer ng IBM. Paano niya tinalo? In terms of computational power, Summit outperformed, baliktad yan Sycamore outperformed Summit. Sorry, you know. Sycamore outperformed Summit. Google fed Sycamore an equation that can only be solved by the Summit supercomputer in 10,000 years. No. And Sycamore was able to solve that equation in 3 minutes, a little more than 3 minutes. Imagine that, 3 minutes. Ganun kabilis yung computer na 3 minutes, 10,000 years doon sa napakalaking supercomputer. No? I will have to introduce another term here, and it's called a FLOP. FLOP stands for, parang flore, no? Floating point operation per second. Floating point operation per second. If in a circuit, when your signal crosses from one point in the circuit to another, then that's a floating point operation. Well, in the brain, if you have 2 neurons, diba? If there's a synapse, nag-connect yung dalawang neuron, ano, to, kunyari, sino nga itong taong ito? Si ganito, no? Nag-connect yung neuron mo, no? That's a synapse. That's that could be likened to a floating point operation. A floating point operation is what needs to occur. Yung kung nawawala na yun that's where you demented ka na no? That's when dementia starts in, ano? Wala nang synapse. Kung napakabagal ng computer mo, hindi matapos-tapos yung operation, no? Yan. Okay, now, PETA, on the other hand, is a quadrillion. That's 1 plus 16 zeros. Ganun siya, kadami yung PETA. Okay, imagine what a petaflop is. In 1 second, you have 1 quadrillion floating point operations occurring. Simultaneous and sequential, ano? Kasi pwedeng 1 microsecond, ang dami na nangyayari, no? It's simultaneous and sequential, no? So this is how they measure the processing power of a supercomputer, no? Ngayon, imagine nyo, Summit operates at 200 petaflops. The human brain operates at 1,000 petaflops. The human brain is 50 times faster than IBM Summit. Kung yung IBM Summit, it will take it 10,000 years to solve something which would only take Sycamore 200 seconds or 3 minutes. Gaano kabilis ang isang quantum computer? Gaano siya kabilis? Ano yung pwede niyang gawin? Makikita nga natin sa mga ano ngayon sa mga yung mga write-ups that quantum computing will be able to solve the coronavirus pandemic, if such a thing happens. Yung mga ganun na, how are we going to use this? No? How can we use future research to find, what will be the impact of something like this, which is thousands of times faster than the human brain? No? Anong pwedeng mangyari? 2 days ago, Honeywell, another hardware firm, said that it's rolling out its own quantum computer. And the speed is twice as fast than any other quantum computer that has been developed. So imagine that. kung ganito ang implications ng ang consequences ng information sa buhay natin, ano, what will a quantum computer be able to do? People are now talking about the manufacture of quantum chips to replace the chips that we use in classical computing. Okay, so what we're trying to say here is that information and communication is more than what, certainly more than we appreciated it to be. There's also this group of physicists who are introducing this concept of, no, ang sinasabi nila, reality is made up of information. No. Okay, this John Archibald Wheeler is the person who coined the term black hole. I think I mentioned this in the recognition rights of our FICS graduates of 2018. But imagine, people are now saying that reality, or physicists are saying that reality is made up of information. Underneath molecules and atoms and particles, there is another layer of reality that is coming to light, and it is a layer that is based on information. If that is how important information is, then definitely we have to approach with a certain amount of reverence in our research. And this is the reason why we're into autopoiesis. We've adopted this biological concept as our theoretical buttress in the Faculty of Information and Communication Studies. And the next 3 slides, which is actually my last ones, is something that I promised the Chancellor. Given all this, what we know right now about information and what the trends on information and communication studies, how should we, the Faculty of Information and Communication Studies, position ourselves? Well, first we have to agree on what we stand for, on what we believe in, and I showed these 3 slides to our off-the-lip participants, and I'd like to share it with you. Of course, this still has to be vetted by our faculty, no? We believe in the essential nature of information and communication and the significant role these play in our evolution as a species and the entire scheme of things. We believe that information and communication lead to cognition within living systems and thus creates, sustains, and generates life. We believe that information determines our realities, and communication is a critical function among all living systems at all levels. That there is more to information and communication literacy than the ability to utilize them. That literacy extends to the understanding of how these shape our past, present, and future. In other words, how it shapes our very existence. We believe that information and communication bring power to the user, and that this power should be used responsibly and conscientiously. We believe in the moral, ethical, and productive use and application of ICTs, communication strategies, techniques, and technologies. We declare that understanding and explaining the essential nature of information and communication and their implications on our economic, social, and cultural lives are significant academic pursuits and personal endeavors. We declare that this knowledge should be scientifically arrived at, rigorously, periodically validated, and appropriately shared. Lastly, we affirm that this faculty will serve as a platform for generating this knowledge through research, promoting it through instruction, and applying it through policy formulation and program planning. We affirm that this faculty will design and develop appropriate technology solutions and applications guided by this knowledge. Okay. That's it. A postscript. In 2012, we had this roundtable discussion on openness. And my test. Ayan. We had this roundtable discussion on openness, and I presented a paper titled "The Invisible Teacher," where I had the following observation. may mga predictions din on the teacher, or, well, observations. The teacher is not the sole authority in an online classroom. Technology is fast making the traditional teacher redundant. Technology is fast making the conventional university irrelevant. Ito naman this postscript is for the Futures Research series. No? I mentioned that during the 70s and the 80s, the more popular books on futures research were Alvin Toffler's, John Naisbitt's. Ngayon, you've heard of Peter Diamandis? You've heard of Synchronicity University? You've heard of the X Prize in technology? Peter Diamandis founded Synchronicity University. He gives the award called X Prize. No? Recently, he collaborated with a guru of one area research interest also, yung flow, si Stephen Kotler. This is what that's Peter Diamandis. They collaborated on a book, The Future is Faster Than You Think. Available in Amazon. No? There's an audio version. Yeah, Simon & Schuster. Peter Diamandis and Stephen Kotler, 2019. December 2019 siya lumabas. It's so very new. They talk about so many things based on, well, scenarios, rigorous research. Chapter 8, The Future of Education. Okay. Ito yung sinasabi nila, what will happen. Okay. Sabi natin kanina, the teachers now becoming irrelevant. Well, they're saying that by 2030 or 2040, we no longer need teachers. We only have Android teachers. Well, this is for primary education. No? Primary education. We should make available 1 billion Android teachers per year. Your smartphones, your tablets, Android tablets. This would be the teachers. What would be the role of open universities? Taga-develop ng content at saka taga-administer ng platform, taga-ano ng platform. Hindi na makakayanan ng classrooms to educate all the students. So they're saying, eto na, the future of education would be Android teachers. The same technology converging on our theaters is heading for our classrooms. What are these technologies? 3D, immersive technologies, no? VR, the ultimate field trip. Yun yung title ng section ng libro niya. Ito yung thesis ni Bobby Figueroa eh. Ito yung dissertation niya na ginagawa sa Japan, no? And this is part of his book, Virtual Reality, the ultimate field trip. You want to do a field trip inside the pyramids of Giza, then you use your VR headset. AR and AI, individualized learning design, augmented reality, artificial intelligence, based on the artificial or machine learning, then your learning design could be individualized. The pattern would follow the individualized user. And this is something that we are now doing here at UPOU. We are actually feeding our learners meta skills, not discrete skills, not in the curriculum, but in the delivery system, in the way that we teach, in the way that they learn. They would have to learn meta skills, which is not being taught of in conventional universities. So we're doing this already. Now, question is, will we be making the same mistake as when we did futures research for information and communication technologies? Will our appreciation or our assumptions of education sa Faculty of Education or of development sa Management and Development Studies, would it be mature enough to cover, well, all of the salient features that would manifest in the future. So, okay, I would like to thank Mendy and Research Conversations, si Jessica, si Ems, Masterclass, Dr. Librero, of course, and Chancellor. And good luck to you for the rest of the futures research. I know this is what we could humbly offer at this point in time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sir Dr. Flor. And for this time, we would be opening the floor for a few questions. So at least 2 to 3 questions we can, then Flor could answer those questions. Also, we are distributing blank sheets of paper. So if you have questions na you cannot or you're too shy to approach to say it out loud, you can write it down and you can give it to us, to the staff. Okay, so any yes.
Lalapit ako. Lalapit ako kay Sir San. What happened?
Mic test.
What happened? Hello? Pa rin. Baka may katapat na.
Mic test.
Sir Sandy, thank you for, parang pangit pa rin, no? Thank you for sharing your story with us. Of course, we know a lot of it. That's, parang pangit pa rin, no?
Ano nangyari ba, sir? Mic test.
Hello. Mic test.
Mic test.
Hello. Better now or the same? Test.
Mic test.
Test. Hello.
Mic test. Mic test.
Mic test. Baka dapat...
Mic test.
Mic test.
1, 2, 3.
Hello. Kapag ako, wag na kaya. Hello.
Mic test. 1, 2, 3. Mic test.
It's the way, ano kaya yun, no? Off yung iba. Hello. Hello. Try mo nga. Baka yung location, pwede ba dito?
Mic test.
Hello. Yan. Ay, ganun pa rin.
Hello.
Mic test.
Sound check.
Nalimutan ko na yung tanong ko.
Sound check. Test mic. 1, 2, sound.
Nalimutan ko na yung tanong ko. Hala. Okay. Maybe better, pero do you like the sound? Parang pangit pa rin, no? Ayan. Hello? Ma'am, okay na? Siguro may... Ay. Wag na mag-mic. Yung mga naka-web stream. Okay. Give time. Hello? Okay na? Pag nag-record, maririnig yon? Or is it just our... Sakit kasi sa tenga eh. Pangit talaga. Okay. Hello, kung okay sa inyo. Would you like to bear with this kind of sound? I think it's so irritating. Hello. Wag na. Yung daw ma'am nasa online.
Okay daw po yung registration.
Pag doon. Nako, pasensya na Sir Sandy. Okay. I'm not the speaker. Ganun din eh. Ayan. Ay, better. You bear with this quality of sound. It's okay with you. Kalimutan ko na yung tanong ko. Ano na ba tanong ko? Teka. I wanted sana kay Sir to show the matrix that was presented earlier, but maybe okay na siguro to, in a way. Is this okay now? Okay na? Hindi daw sabi ni Connie, ha? Hindi daw maintindihan.
Mic test.
Hindi daw maintindihan.
Mic test.
Hey, check, 1, 2, hey. Hey, check, 1, 2. Hey, 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 hey.
Mic test.
Hey, check, 1.
This is the future of technology. Di tayo makapag-usap.
Hey, check.
Hello. Kung dito sa loob, pangit. Sa online, pangit din. Oo. So, what will happen to our future now? Wag na mag-microphone. What about the old microphone? Do we have the old one? Baka battery nga to eh. Okay. Ayan, this one. Okay? Getting better? Ha? Pangit pa rin? Para,
Like this?
So, battery siya.
Hey, check, 1. Hey, check, 1, 2. Hey, hey. Hey, check, 1, 2. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, check, 1, 2, hey, hey.
Sir Sandy, baka dapat dito po kayo. Kasi na-record naman na yung lecture.
Mic test.
Hey, check, 1, 2, hey, 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 check.
Testing.
1, 2, hey, 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 check. 1, 2, hey, 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 check. 1, 2.
Hello, okay? Better? Yan, thank you. Demi. Yung kay Sir Sandy. So siguro ulitin ko lang what I said. Wala rin. Sige sir, pag ano, I'll just pass on to you the microphone. just would like to repeat what I said earlier. We really thank Sir Sandy for sharing his thoughts with us on futures research, for sharing his story. You know, when you hear a story, it's really nice and something that you can relate to what has happened to you as a scholar as well. Si Sir Sandy ay teacher ko, mentor. So, and we thank him for putting us in the storyline. Nakita natin lahat, we were there, all of us. Just would like to say na that's from the point of view of Sir Sandy, but since he already identified that I come from the Montreal School with the agency framework, we actually use the abductive approach in our research rather than the inductive approach. So, although of course for those students who are here, we are we are training you to complete your dissertation using all of those means of knowing, all of the reasonings of science. Those are the reasonings of science: inductive, deductive first, inductive, and then the abductive approach. My questions, we were given the chance to ask Sir Sandy because this is the futures research. And research, from my point of view, is the means of, it is the process of knowing the unknown. And because we are about knowledge, and that knowledge is this one question that I would like to ask Sir Sandy, and what would be future. Because according to the East-West perspective that he used, he puts future under, hindi pala foresight pala yun, of what would constitute as future. Since research is the process of knowing the unknown, and there are means of knowing the unknown, does the future only refer to the means of know? What does the future refer to? Does that refer to the object of the research or the knowledge that research would like to produce? Is that the future? Does the future refer to that? Or does the future refer, at katulad ng mga nabanggit na niya na we are the Android teachers, no? Those to me are object of research. Those becomes unknown to us. Those become unknown to us. Whether are they going to, would they be able to teach us if we are taught by an Android teacher? Would that produce the same ethical, morally, and pedagogically upright person? What would an Android teacher create in a student? Is that what we call the future? Is it the object of research? Or is that future, does that future refer to the means of knowing? Apart from this reasoning of deductive, inductive, and abductive, could there be another reasoning beyond this reasoning? Is that what we mean by future? Or does that future refer to that? So that question is on the object of research and on the means of knowing. Thank you po.
Thank you very much, Jean. Dinig niyo ako. Yung mga ganung kwento, ganung tanong yung pang dissertation, pang defense yan eh, no? Ayun nga, kaya mag-iingat ka. The person who introduced the term abductive, if I'm not mistaken, is Charles Sanders Peirce, no? Who parating, ang kinokorek ako parati ni Benji when we talk about semiotics, kasi ang pag-pronounce daw nun eh, Peirce, hindi, although Peirce ang basa ko. My understanding of abductive, in the way he explained it, is that it is inferential in nature, no? An inference that may or may not be infallible. Hindi katulad dun sa logic na kung sabi mo A would lead to B, B leads to... Well, let's not go into that. But yeah, perhaps your question should be more, it's more about epistemology rather than your approach to the inquiry. You see, that is an innate weakness in futures research, is that it cannot be empirically validated, di ba? Also, your sets of assumptions are limited, no? And there is a lot of speculation that is required in the process. So there is always a tendency for us not to get the big picture, right? And I believe that is the reason why we were not able to address the so-called pathologies of information and communication with our attempts to, paint a future scenario of new information and communication technologies. No. Parang it cannot answer those questions. I don't think futures research could answer those questions. It is very, di ba, ang function niya nun, if we go back to its origins, is that it could guide decision makers or governments or agencies on courses of action should something occur. Let's say a nuclear attack, or if terrorists would somehow be able to capture a nuclear facility, what would be the best case scenarios, what would be the worst case scenarios, what are the possible things that would occur. So hanggang dun yung kanyang utility. I don't think we could use it to theorize. I don't think that we could use it as effectively as qualitative research to understand something, di ba? It has its own limits. But given the current environment, it is something that we need to face, we need to address, we need to do something about. For instance, us, the community of scholars in UP-OU at the moment, if we just focus on our traditional niches of qualitative, quantitative research, we may miss out something. Yung sinasabi nga ni Dr. Librero kanina na, let's not talk about the past anymore. We need to address the future also. So I don't think futures research would make any claims on, it cannot, on accuracy, for instance, or on the depth of understanding that would be the product of, let's say, qualitative research. Ganon. No, I don't think kaya niya. Its utility is informed decision making. Incidentally, I failed to explain one salient feature of futures research is its belief in so-called alternative futures. Kasi our future could go anyway. So we have alternatives. Kaya nga may best case, worst case. This is where we could go, or this is where we could move. No? These are, and it is the skill of navigating through that, I think, that we need to master. sa quantum physics, iba yung pagka-explain nila ng alternative futures eh. Ang sinasabi nila, well, in some theories is that, you know, all the futures that will happen or that may happen are going to happen. Di ba? May mga alternative universes now, you know, mga ganun, no? Pero masyado nang mabigat. Did I answer your question, Jean? I'm sorry for that. No.
We can entertain one last question here. So, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, sir. I'm from CTC UPLB. And my question is related on qualitative research. Alam ni Ma'am alam ni Ma'am Bench yan dahil panel ko siya sa dissertation ko. So how would we locate or situate the qualitative research within the realm of futures research, especially that we seemingly head towards the direction of AI or virtual reality and whatnot. So I'm just wondering, where do we locate quali research within futures research? Thank you po.
Perhaps Dr. Solidades is able to answer that better than I can, no? But this is my take on it, no? Many anticipatory methods do not require any numbers or any measurements or any form of counting, actually. Like, for instance, if we build scenarios of the future, much of this, although these are informed guesses or informed scenarios nga, no? They do not require validation, for instance. Di ba, sa quantitative, yun nga you could only validate through measurements. No? Walang ganon. So, madaming futures research procedures or anticipatory procedures na hindi nangangailangan ng quanti, puro quali lang. Yung policy Delphi, for instance, we don't, or the Delphi technique, we don't, we do thematic analysis. And we do not count the number of responses. We do not base it on, let's say, the qualities of the experts. Anonymous nga yung anonymous yung constitution ng expert panel ang Delphi is qualitative, you know. So, ganun. Ewan ko, si Jean might be able to add something.
Okay, so due to time limitations, so we will end our open discussion right now. But if you have further questions on futures research, we've given out sheets of blank paper, so you can write down your questions and put your name, or you can email us OVCAA or sir, so we can answer your questions. Also, for the live stream, those who are watching online, you can still comment your questions on our chat room, and we have moderator there. And thank you so much, Sir Flor, for journeying us to intergenerational perspective on futures research. And at this point, we would like to appreciate you. So we want to we want to call on Chancellor Melinda Bandalaria, Vice Chancellor Melinda Lomanta, and also former UPOU Chancellor Sir Lex Librero to award the certification of appreciation. UP Open University Office of the Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, in collaboration with Faculty of Information and Communication Studies, present this certificate of appreciation to Dr. Alexander G. Flor for delivering a talk on futures research, an intergenerational perspective, which set the tone of the Futures Research series given during the launching of Research Conversations 2020, held on March 6, 2020 at the CCDL Auditorium, UPOU HQ, Los Baños, Laguna. Signed, Melinda F. Lamanta, VCAA, UPOU. All right, thank you so much, Sir Flor, once again. And thank you for all those who are here today. And that ends up our Futures Research series launching. And we hope we could still see you on our lineup, next speakers. So watch out for the next part of the Research Conversations 2020 Futures Research series. Thank you so much.